paint us a little bit of the picture? Are there technologies or strategies that we as humans should be adopting now to position ourselves or to create a dynamic where we can excel?
Well, I think there's one thing that I think is very important, which is that the types of hierarchies and the types of, in computer science, we have binary trees where, start with a node and then everything has two branches and then two branches again and two branches again. And then we also have n-ary trees where you can have a root and then you can have n number of children off of that node. That's a kind of hierarchy. And an n-ary tree, given the same number of people, a shallower n-ary tree will fit a larger population as long as n is a large number. It's not 2, it's much larger than 2. So the larger you make every level in the hierarchy, the shallower the hierarchy becomes. And the more equality there is in every level of that hierarchy. So one of the issues is that hierarchies are by definition tyrannical. There is a structural tyranny inherent in a hierarchy. And yet some level of hierarchy is also required. So in the ancient times, kings used to want to cement the fact that they were given the mandate by God. Because the natural question comes, which is that you are one of 6 leaders of tribes. And generally that's how it was, or 6 small principalities. And you became king. So what was special about you? And then, the religious core and all of these people would get together and say, oh, no. This guy has the divine mandate, right? So this is why. So there always has to be a story to protect the people at the top of the hierarchy from immediately being toppled because nobody else in the hierarchy really believes that they ought to be there if they're just an ordinary human. So what do we have to do? This is a lesson of history. This just is. So I think that in different organizational structures within companies, this has implications. For example, if you can do what Jensen does, I think it's a good thing. Not everybody has the bandwidth to do that. But what that does is it actually flattens the hierarchy by a lot, and it creates less of a relative distance between you and anyone else. The issue is never whether you are absolutely poor or absolutely rich. It's always about relative power compared to the power you perceive others in your immediate surroundings have. So I think shallow hierarchies, one, systematically, how can you make them happen? Part of that is organizational restructuring. Part of that is architecting systems that allow us to do that. And part of that is getting the help of digital systems and augmenting ourselves. I mentioned the Dunbar number. One of the reasons we haven't been able to do that is because we just don't have the capacity to deal with very, very broad hierarchies. So how do we cognitively enhance ourselves to be able to do that?